Today we're going to talk with finance, and Cody Burns is our guest this morning. He's the Director of Finance. And welcome, Cody. It's good to have you on Village in Motion.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
And we're going to learn a lot about finance today, right?
Sure, yes.
What do you got to tell us?
So one of our big initiatives that we have coming out actually in July is online billing. And this is something I'm really excited about because it's been a request from residents for quite a while, and I've wanted it ever since I got to Erickson. And so in July, we'll be rolling out online billing, and everyone will get an insert in their statement explaining how it works. And my staff will be trained up on how to assist with anyone in terms of setting up their accounts. And what this will be is you'll be able to go online and view your statement. You'll be able to pay your statement online as well by connecting a bank account, whether it be a checking or savings account of your choosing. And there will also be the option of paperless billing, so that you won't receive a paper copy of the statement anymore. You'll be just receiving the electronic copy through your account in the online billing portal.
So it won't make any difference which bank we're using. Any bank in the country?
Any bank that you would like to use, as long as it's a U.S. bank, and it has to be a checking or a savings account, can be linked to pay your bill, and you can also choose multiple accounts as well.
And we have to have a computer.
Yep, it could be a computer, a smartphone, or a tablet. I believe the link will work on any of those platforms.
Okay, so a computer, a smartphone, or a tablet?
Correct.
Okay.
Anything with an internet connection.
Okay. That's the only thing we have to have is just an internet connection. We don't have to have any software or other software, just the internet connection.
Nope, there will be a link that will be provided to the residents, and they just have to type that link into the browser of their internet browser, and it'll take them to the site, and they can log in using their credentials and access their account. So
we have then to set up an account, or we have to set up something with the bank so that we can log in. We have to provide them a password, and we have to provide them a a username, usually a username and a password. And we probably don't have that until we set up the account. Is that
correct? So once you get the link, there will be directions in the July bill. It'll take you, you'll go to the website, and it'll walk you through what information is needed. It'll have you set up your username and password as well, and then it will give you the option of setting up a bank account to pay your bill if you would like.
Okay. Now, is this part of My Erickson?
No, it is a separate initiative from My Erickson. In the future, there may be a link on My Erickson so that it'll be centralized, and the link will take you to the online billing portal, but that will come at a later time.
And this is my individual account.
Correct.
So it has nothing to do with Greenspring except the way I pay Greenspring.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Well, what else do we have?
So we've talked about accounts receivable a lot in the past as well, and our initiative has seen great progress
Now,
in the last 3 months.
Accounts receivable, we're really talking about our fee, is that?
Correct. So collections of the monthly fees to the residents. We started an initiative of sending collection letters out and starting to call residents when we've seen that they missed a payment in the previous month, and it has seen great progress. So one of the metrics we like to look at is days sales outstanding, or DSO, and what that is how many days of revenue is still outstanding in collections. And a day of revenue for Greenspring is between $240,000 to $250,000. And so we've seen our DSO go from 13.6 at the end of December down to 10.6 in March. And so that's a 3-day decrease, which
what
means
was the average for 2018, do you know?
Our average was between 12 and 13. We kind of hovered between 12 and 13, and our target was to get to 10. And so we're moving there. We're really close to our target, and the team is really excited in the finance office with the progress that we've made. So every month we go through our collections process, we're seeing the progress, and it's becoming a lot smoother of a process for my team as well.
Now, if residents had the direct pay, that would certainly help toward that too, wouldn't it?
Correct. So ACH, or the direct pay option, guarantees that the bill will be paid within the month that the bill is due. And with online billing coming in July, I believe it'll just become even easier for residents to manage their accounts and make payments, because they'll be able to go online and make a direct payment from a bank account if they choose, instead of writing a check, sending it in the mail, having a couple days until the mail gets to our lockbox, and then having that processing time of a couple days at our lockbox as well before it gets posted onto your account.
Yeah, I found before I did the direct pay that, you know, there were a couple of months that for some reason or the other I would put the bill somewhere and not remember it.
Yep.
You know,
we get a lot of
all
that.
All of a sudden I'm overdue, but you
Yep.
didn't charge me anything, which I appreciated. However, I didn't like not paying my bill in the month that it should have been paid.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, we don't charge interest until 60 days.
Yeah.
And that's if you're not working with us. So if we've sent a couple of collection letters and we haven't gotten responses, we've tried calling and we haven't heard anything, that's when interest will be charged, and we will reverse off interest if we see a good faith effort to get the account reconciled.
Is there any downside to direct pay? Is there a downside from my point of view to direct pay?
The only downside I could see is it is on the resident to make sure there are enough funds in their account that they have linked to direct pay at the time that the payment will be processed. And our payments are processed around the 20th of the month, give or take a day, depending upon if the 20th falls on a weekend.
Okay.
So it is on the resident to make sure that there are funds in there, and we do see some every once in a while where a payment will bounce, and we'll give a call out to that resident and figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I can see one who keeps their account very low because they're not getting any interest on it, probably.
Sure. Yep.
You know? That's not the way it used to be. You know, we used to get a little interest. It was sort of worthwhile, but not anymore.
And if you ever are fearful of not having enough money in the account, give the office a call before the 20th, and we can adjust the ACH pool so that it won't try to pull the full amount, and talk through how we can get the account reconciled, or if it's just going to take an extra month to
So
make
if I
sure
do
the
have
funds.
trouble keeping, if my account is low continuously, then I do have a recourse.
Correct.
And with direct pay, I wasn't aware of that.
Correct. And I would say with any sort of money issues that you or any other resident may be having, if you feel that you can't pay the bill, give us a call and be proactive about it, so that we're not sending a letter the following month when you didn't pay the bill in full. We're very friendly, and we're very able and willing to work with you to get your bill reconciled. With what your means are.
That's good to know, because you know, I've always felt that Erickson would be very considerate in that respect, because we're living here. You know, we all intend to pay our bill, and you know we intend to pay our bill, or we wouldn't be living here.
Sure.
So you know, but the problem is we just sometimes forget, or maybe our account runs a little low, and we really don't want to pay it this month because I don't have enough money in the bank.
Sure.
But we need to talk with you then.
Yeah, if that's the case, just give us a call and let us know, and we can work out a solution. Or if it's just a matter of waiting until the following month, we'll make a note on your account so that you don't receive a collection letter the following month.
Good. Okay. Yep. All right. I haven't. Do we have anything else on the? Before I ask a question.
Those are the only finance initiatives we have going on right now. So.
Okay. My question is, you're working with the finance committee. We have a resident council has its own finance committee, and the finance committee puts out a report in the Villager, maybe not monthly, maybe it's quarterly, but we do see the finance report in the Villager. I'm just wondering how you work with the finance committee. Do you how transparent are you with the finance committee?
Sure. So the finance committee and I meet monthly.
Okay.
And during that meeting, it's a 2-hour meeting. We'll go through a summary of the financials, as well as providing the profit and loss statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statements to them to discuss during the meeting. And what we do is we go through how we did the previous month, how we're doing year to date, where some of the areas that we're having issues with, where some of our successes are, and how we plan to overcome some of those areas of concern in the later months. And then we have a dialogue. We'll have a flavor of the month, whether it be accounts receivable or capital expenditures, where we'll really do a deep dive into one of those topics. Or if I have any new initiatives coming out, I'll explain what's going on in the finance office. And then myself, the finance committee chair and the finance committee liaison meet a few days before the meeting to kind of discuss the agenda and make sure that we're all on the same page, but also figure out if there's any questions that we want to tackle during that meeting to better help understand, or better help the transparency with the resident council, but also to help their understanding and learning of how the operations work here at Green Spring. Okay,
well that's good, because as I said, we don't see much of the finance committee. They sort of work behind the scenes, I think, whereas dining services or general services are usually out front. You hear about them, and so I guess one other question I would have is the payment of major capital expenses. Does the finance committee have any influence at all about that?
So the finance committee, being a part of the resident council, has the ability to request capital projects every year before the budget season starts, and that's really where the influence lies. We do discuss what's being paid out at a given time, especially for the larger projects such as the Dogwood Commons project and the upcoming Town Center project. We talk about the budget, what some of the projects are, and when we expect some of those funds to be paid out. And we discuss that every month, because we do have a budget line for how much we expect to be paid out every month in capital expenditures, and if we're either high or low, I explain that variance as well.
Well, we're down to 1 minute, and I have just one more question.
Okay.
The emergency things that go on around here, for example, the boiler bursts, and that's that's a fairly major expense, but we have contingency funds to cover that?
Yes and no. So when something like that happens, we will look to see if we can reprioritize some of the capital to get that project done faster, because normally with a replacement it would be considered a capital project. And with something like a boiler bursting, we would look to reprioritize some of our lesser critical projects to use those funds for replacement of that boiler. Okay, well, thank you very much, Cody. You're welcome. I appreciate your candor and your transparency and answers. I appreciate it, and I hope that you all did too.